Hello, welcome to MWP Week 3. This is gonna be the Tsundere Tsareenas versus the um, Bagged Miltanks. So actually, as you can see, I'm actually switching up this week. I am doing a post commentary, just to maybe hopefully I can maybe get a feel. So actually, before we even start this matchup, I wanted to kind of just like take this battle a bit slower from especially from last week, how I played a bit too fast. And so the first thing I did was just look at his team, and I was like, okay, so he has a very like Win-esque, like Win, the player Win, like very Win team. It's very HO flying. Corviknight instead of Celesteela, so I'm predicting probably a setup, agility, bulk up, power trip, or iron defense, body press. Who knows? And I was like, Lando's probably Scarf. Arrows probably lead, Zard Y with Solar Beam, and no Roost probably, and then Tundi T with probably like Z move, and then Bandit Dragonite, Heavy Duty Boots. So yeah, that's how I kind of saw his team. I was like, okay, like let's get this road started. And so I was like, you know what? Honestly, my best lead is Mamoswine. I was kind of hoping he didn't go to Charizard because Charizard actually just defeats my whole team. But he might have thought I might have been like ban or like I don't know, maybe like some weird like scarf something. So I was like, well, let's hope, But so I was like, okay, let's go Mamo. So we start the battle. I start with Mamoswine, and here I'm just like, okay, you know what? He's gonna put up rocks or something. Like his only moves are attacking me, and I call it for dual wing bee. I don't know why, or maybe just like strong attacking heading moves like Stone Edge, Earthquake, and I was like, okay, like you know what? Let's just like this is Icicle Crash. So he Tailwinds, I Icicle Crash. Now I actually predict like maybe like because at this point he can switch, right? And I'm like, well, I hope he doesn't go to Zard Y, and I hope he just sacks because usually most lead arrows want to sack themselves, so he sacks, and I'm like, okay, that's so good. That's one down, five more to go. And so he goes hard on Zard Y, and this is where I'm really scared of because this mon's like the biggest turn on his team. I don't care about any of those other dudes, maybe the Corviknight, but like I need to get like Mamo in with gravity and like start just slapping these mons on the flying team. So I'm just like, you know what? I think I need to put rocks up so I can start threatening like just chip damage in general. So I can get Mamo in, just start ice sharding when I can, and then icicle crashing in the end for Corviknight. So I was like, okay, let's take this. I calced, and I was like, well, there's nothing that can take this super powerful, Fire Blast, Solar Beam. So I was like, let's just take this. And yeah, Garchomp does not live, even Mega. So I was like, well, this mon's gone. And so I was like, okay, let's yeah, let's sack Garchomp. It's not needed as much, just because it doesn't have any like edge, and Earthquake's kind of useless, especially when we don't have gravity up. So let's sack this mon, and let's put in Hippo again. Putting Hippo in prevents a Solar Beam if I go Gastrodon, and so his Tailwind peters out. And I'm like, okay, I think I need to put rocks up here at this point. Putting rocks up allows me to chip, as I said before, but then I also can my logic was if he will not Solar Beam. If he does Solar Beam, good play, but I go hard Extra Drill and then I just like bop something with like pretend like if I have rocks or something, which I did not. But that's like something I could have done to him. So I go Hippo and I'm like, let's rocks up, and I don't die actually to like any of his moves. So yeah, he just Fire Blasts me, and I rocks up. And so at this point, I'm kind of like, I think I need to go hit Mamo here, because he knows if I go into Gastro and use Solar Beams or Fire Blast, it's like pretty useless for him, technically, because then I get a free Toxic off, or I go hard to Extra Drill and take the Solar Beam, and and he's very scared of my Extra Drill just because he does not know what the set is, and Extra Drill can have many sets. So I was like, okay, let's go hard Mamo, and I'm so happy he didn't Fire Blast, because I was like, I would not think he'd Fire Blast again. So yeah, I go hard Mamoswine here. At this point, I can now threaten for an Icicle Crash. There's like zero. He doesn't kill with EQ unless he's like Z-Fly, but just looking at his team, why would he need Z-Fly in this type of team? Unless it's Scarf Dundee, which, you know what, GG then. But yeah, I go for the Crash kills. I'm like, yes, okay, another one down. Let's go. He goes into Landorus, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I think I just go hard into Landorus here because I think he might go Corviknight, and I want gravity up. And so, yeah, that happens. I'm happy with that play, and he goes back to Landorus, so I'm like, okay, okay, I'm gonna gravity here, just in case if he stays in, there's like potential. So I just get a nice gravity up and I can just E-power and not worry about, this Landers anymore. And I'm like, I calced and EQ didn't kill. And I was like, okay, let's do that. Let's kill this thing. So yeah, Earthquake. And then I just Earth Power. At this point, I'm pretty happy right now. And I just need to deal with like what his sets are and just kind of figure out this Dragonite and Corviknight last. What those Mon sets are. So next thing I know, he goes Dragonite and I'm like, wait, he's on Heavy Duty Boost. That means he's Banded or Z. And that means I have a fairly good chance of just like winning this game now, because now. But thing is, I had a slight worry because the moment he sacked Tsundere, I was like, maybe he didn't have a Z move on that. Maybe it's his Nasty Plot, Life Orb or something. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna risk like getting like DD'd on and losing the whole game, because I don't think my team can win after that. So think about it, because then I'd have to waste Z like. My Z move and extra drill, and that just becomes ugly because he sends out Corviknight, sets stuff on me, and I lose. So like, you know what? Might as well just sack this. He speeds him. Okay, it's probably banned. Usually that's probably like a banded. And I'm like, since he's like HO, I'm expecting like, especially with Tailwind, I'm like, okay, it's probably adamant. So I was like, okay, let's go. Hit Crash. Or yeah, he hits Icicle Spear or Extreme Speed. I hit the Icicle Crash, and I'm like, okay. That's very good. At this point, I'm looking at the match and like, and I have like 90 seconds, so I'm like kind of worrying like what I should do here, and I'm like, okay. At this point, sun's up, and I need to make sure that Hippo comes in, so that I can get rid of the sun, so I can maybe play around with Gastrodon and do some stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's switch out, go Hippo, sack this thing. We don't need this anymore. Hippo's useless. It's only needed for setting up the sand from next drill, and. At this point, I have 20 seconds, and I'm like, okay. So actually, before I even set an extra drill, I had to do some calcs, and I was like, how do I win this endgame? And I was like, okay, let's assume that I can kill. Let's assume that Mamma is my win con. If Mamma is my win con, I need to get him out in somehow safely. So I calced for extra drills Iron Head. I did like 36% max. I think I can just maybe do that right now. It was like, let's go. But yeah, it was like I need to find a way to get the Mamma movement without getting chipped or just like letting him sit for free. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. Let's calc this then. Let's go to the Zard Y like Monotype drop Wall Breaker, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Iron Head does 36. His percentage is at 39. So technically, if I don't think I'll hit a mineral, but if I do hit at least 33 and Sand Chip happens, I win. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. So this happens, and I'm like, Iron Head, and the only way I lose this game actually is flinch, flinch, flinch into, he misses Fire Blast, yeah, so it's pretty big worry for me, so I'm just like, please, like, no flinch, please hit Fire Blast, I need this kill for you to happen. And then he Fire Blasts, I'm like, thank the Lord. So he dies, and I'm like, okay, I think I win now. I think I should win. I should win. And so he goes Corviknight. I'm like, okay, let's just pray I can get all my Icicle Crashes. Okay, got one. I'm like, okay, 52? He ain't that like defensive EVs. And so I'm like, okay. He bulks up. I'm like, okay, I should win. I just need to click Icicle Crash and just hope I hit. And then, yeah, I hit Icicle Crash, and yeah, I win the game off there. And so, yeah, it was a long 16 turns, but man, that was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, good games, Harpp, and I really appreciated the game. Thank God no hacks happened, but yeah, it was a good game. And so, yeah, I'm now in 2-1, and so yeah, I just thank you for everyone who is watching this, and yeah, hope to see you next week. Because I actually told myself, if I lost this match, I told Zarf and I told Kaiser, yo, if I lose this match, guys, bench me, bench me. I don't think I deserve to play another week, gotta prove it. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a great week.